गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल डिवोटीज। ओम साई राम। आज श्री गुरु पूर्णिमा उत्सव का कंक्लूजन डे और आज के दिन की आप सभी को ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं। तो आज श्री साई सच्चरित्र पारायण का अध्याय नंबर 3 है। तो आइए सभी डिवोटीज मिलके बाबा का अध्याय करें और बाबा से प्रार्थना करें कि सभी को ढेर सारी खुशी मिले और सभी की सेहत अच्छी रहे और श्री साई कृपा आप सभी पे हमेशा बनी रहे। ओम साई राम। श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। श्री गुरुदेव श्री दत्त। ओम साई राम।
Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 3 of the Sai Satcharithra, the consent given to write this book. But before that, let us do the Namasmaran and then we will understand chapter number 3 followed by the Aarti. Shri Satchidanand Sadguru Sainath Maharaj ki jai. ओम श्री साई नाथाय नमः। 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 ओम श्री साईनाथाय नमः। Om Sai Ram. Chapter number 3, the consent given to write this book. I bow down to Shri Ganesh. I bow down to Shri Saraswati. I bow down to the Guru. I bow down to the family deity. I bow down to Shri Sita Ramachandra, and I bow down to Shri Sadguru Sainath. Now I pick up the thread of the earlier narration. Sai gives me full assurance and tells me, I will give you my full permission to narrate my life story. You perform your duty. Do not have least doubts in your mind. Have full faith in my words and be of resolute mind. If you write about my Leelas, it will wipe out all your faults which have arisen due to ignorance. And when you listen to it with faith, your worldly involvements will disappear. It will cause waves of love and devotion to rise on the ocean of the mind, and diving into them now and then will bring up gems of knowledge. When I heard this, I ceased to have any doubts. I bowed at the feet of Sai, and then, relying on my memory, I started to write this biography. No sooner than these words came from Baba's lips, I thought that it was a very good omen. This book will complete itself. I will only be the bondsman physically writing it. See how inscrutable the ways of God. They are beyond perception and are known but to Himself. Even the Shastras and Vedas are silent, and no one is able to plumb their depth. Those experts in Shastras and Vedas, those intellectuals and scholars, the learned and the disputatious, given to splitting hairs, do not follow them. God is the embodiment of His own devotees. He longs for the simple and the guilelessness. He is completely indebted to those who love Him. He shuns the hypocrites. In this only lies your well being. This is also my avatar's fulfillment. This is my repeated preaching. I am always concerned about it. O Shama, I tell you furthermore that whoever takes my name with love, I will fulfill his wishes and increase his devotion. Whoever sings with feelings of my life, eulogizes my powers, virtues, and excellence. I will protect him totally by surrounding him. Those devotees who have become one with me with heart and soul, they will naturally be bound to be happy by listening to the story of my life. Whoever sings my praises, I will bestow upon him complete happiness, permanent pleasure, and contentment. Believe this as the truth. It is my promise to redeem the one who, with faith, sings my praises, totally surrenders to me, remembers me constantly, and meditates on me. How will anyone be longing for worldly pleasures who thinks of my name, worships me, studies me, whose holy readings are of me, who meditates on me, and who continuously think about me? From the very jaws of death, I will snatch away my devotees from the jaws of death. Just by listening to my stories, diseases will disappear. Listen to the story with due reverence. Meditate upon it fully, intently. Contemplate upon it, and you will attain peace. The you and I will disappear. The minds of the listeners will be absorbed in God. The mind will be a store of divine energy and full of single minded complete faith. Repetition of the name Sai will burn away all the sins of the Kali Yuga. Once have prostrated, past sins, born of speech and hearing, will be destroyed. Although the work is not an ordinary one, I respectfully obeyed the orders. When there is one as eloquent as Baba, why should I belittle myself? Some devotees were made to build temples, some were made to lose themselves in the joy of Kirtan, some were sent on pilgrimages, and he made me sit down to write. Amongst all the devotees, I am insignificant. I do not know what quality in me made Sai, the ocean of compassion and cloud of mercy, show his grace on me. Such is the marvel of the Guru's grace that it makes a dry and stiff plant effortlessly and profusely blossom in the most arid soil. In the future, some people may build monasteries, some may build temples, and some may build ghats. But I will take the straightforward way of the recitation of Sai's story. Some may reverently worship Sai, some may press his feet gently, but my mind is eager to sing his praises. What could be attained by meditation is the Krita Yoga. By ritualistic sacrifice is Trita Yoga, and by ritualistic worship in Dwarpa Yuga can now be attained in the present Kali Yuga by chanting the Guru's name and singing his praises. Obviously, I will unqualified jack of all trades and a master of none. How can I then undertake this enormous and difficult task? If I do not make any efforts and just sit still, I will be committing the sin of disobedience. And if I obey him, how will I equal to the task? Who is capable of describing the inward state of the powerful Sai? Sai alone can describe it through a devotee of his by conferring grace upon him. When the speech cannot do justice, why then did I develop this craving? Sai gave no opportunity nor scope for anyone to say anything in this matter. When I took up the pen, Baba made me lose my own identity. He himself began writing his story. The credit is entirely his. Who else but a saint can write the life story of Sai? To understand the inconceivable virtues of Baba is like attempting to embrace the sky. I have not the intelligence to speak of his unfathomable powers and greatness. He himself should do it and free himself from the promise. Baba, although I am born a Brahmin, I do not have the knowledge of the Shrutis and Smritis. Although this is a blot on the birth of mine, my association with you is to my credit. The Shrutis and Smritis are the eyes of a Brahmin. Squint eyed is the person without one of them, and blind without both. I am humble and low because I am deficient in both. You are the staff of the blind for me. Why should I then worry? With its support, I will follow you on the trodden path. I do not know how to proceed. Humble as I am, I do not know what to do. You must give me the intelligence and get your own work done. The mystery of that is inconceivable power which moves the dumb to speak like Brihaspati and the lame to cross Mount Meru is known only to Baba alone. I am a humble servant of yours. Do not make me despondent till my last breath. Get your work done by me. Now, O you listeners, you have come to know the object of this book. Sai himself writes it for the welfare of his devotees, and I am merely his instrument. Just as the flute or the harmonium are not worried about the notes they produce, it is being the concern of the only player. Likewise, why should we feel troubled? Is the nectar which the Chandrakant oozes its own? It is the miraculous work of the moon itself at moonrise. Or when the ocean has full tide, is it due to its own work? That also is in the hands of the moon, and it is not achieved by the ocean. So be it. Just as a buoy with red lights is anchored in the sea to guide the movement of ships by warning them to keep off the rocks and whirlpools, so will the tales of Sai, which is their sweetness, put even the nectar in the shade, navigate us safely, and will smoothen the difficult paths of the ocean of existence. Blessed are the tales of the saints that penetrate into consciousness through the years and cleanse the bodily ego and destroy the sense of duality. As more and more of these tales are stored in your heart, the doubt run helter skelter. And when the store of spiritual knowledge grows, your identification with the body diminishes. To describe Baba's pure fame and listen to it with all your heart will burn away the sins of the devotees. This makes for easy attainment of salvation. What is the nature of the Brahman which is beyond illusion? And what are the means to conquer that illusion? God favors his devotees who lead virtuous and pious lives. How else is it possible for this devotee? What a perfect bliss, devotion, deliverance, and detachment. What are they? All things belonging to the fourfold varnas and to the fourfold ashrams are one. These subjects are very abstruse. Those who are interested in these subjects should fulfill their desire by studying the words of Dhyaneshwar, Eknath, and others and enjoy them happily. In the Krita Yuga, it was controlling the senses and subduing of passions. In Trita Yoga, sacrifices in Dwarpa rituals, and in Kali Yuga, reciting the name and singing the praises, a simple means of salvation. Listening to the life story of a guru is the easy road to salvation for the four varnas like Brahmins and the others, including women, Shudras, and even the casteless. Only those who have good deeds to their credit from their past births will listen to these stories. If someone feels sleepy, God will wake them up. Those who are uncontrollably engaged in worldly pleasures and who become abject when these are denied to them. For them, the nectar of the stories of saints will free them from these vices. Performing yoga and sacrifices, practicing meditation and concentration requires great efforts, whereas listening to these tales require no effort other than attentiveness. Let the devout and the virtuous listeners listen to the pure story of Sai, by which they will be benefited because the powerful five sins will be burnt completely. Chained as we are to the worldly existence which conceals from our view the real self, we will find that by listening to these stories, the bond will be loosened and we will get back the original state of the real self. These tales should be remembered throughout life and studied daily. They will free the listeners from worldly affairs and bring peace to all. While reading and listening with devotion and faith, let me be able to meditate on Sai. Let him appear before my eyes in his saguna form, and let it be imprinted in my mind. In this way, let my devotion to the Guru grow and let me attain detachment from the world. Let the urge to remember his name become intense and make my mind pure. With the object of this in mind, Sainath conferred the grace on me and made me the instrument while he himself wrote the book. Although the cow's udder is full of milk to overflowing, it is natural for her to release the milk only to her calf. So is Sai's love. For the sake of my longing, like the Chatak Bud, Sai mother showered happiness, quenching my modest thirst, and he will quench that of his devotees abundantly. How marvelous are the love and devotion, overflowing with the instinctive love for her child. The mother forces her milk into the mouth, even when the child does not ask for it. Who knows her fatigue? The child is not aware of it. Who else is the mother will take the child to her breast without asking? When a baby is decorated with ornaments, the baby knows no significance of it. Only the mother knows the pleasures. Similar is the way of the Satguru. This childlike feeling that I have, who will lovingly satisfy. Who else but the mother will have a real concern? That kind of affection is rare. To be born a virtuous mother is a great fortune bestowed by God. Yet the child is blissfully ignorant of the mother's pangs at its birth. May that be whatever. Baba said something more in this regard, which I will tell you. Oh, you good listeners, please listen to this with due respect and attention. In the year 1916, my service with the government came to an end and a suitable pension was fixed. The time came for me to take a trip to Shirdi. It was the day of Guru Purnima. The devotees gathered to perform Guru Puja and Chin- Chinchanikar. On his own, made a request to Baba. Listen to what his recommendation was. Anna was very worried about me. He pleaded before Baba. As his family was increasing, have compassion on him. Give him another service. This pension will not suffice. Word of Anna Sahib's worries. Do something of this sort. In reply, Baba said, he will get another service. Let him serve me now. He will get happiness in the world. His household will always be prosperous and he will not want anything till he lives. If he resorts to me with full faith, his difficulties will be removed. There will be persons who stay that they will behave as they like and as they have strayed from the path. Those who have turned their backs on religious observances Turn away from such people first. If you come across them, swear away from there. Consider them to be very dangerous. Be afraid of even the shadows and then go out of the way to avoid them. One who is lawless, immoral, thoughtless, without any purpose, who cannot distinguish between right and wrong, how will he achieve good in life? But without some special bonds of the past life, no one comes to us. Maybe a dog, pig, or a fly. So do not repulse anybody. Henceforth, he should serve me with love and devotion. The Supreme Being will bless him. He will receive permanent treasure. In what manner should I worship? Who am I? How can he know with certainty? Sai's body is perishable, while Brahman is imperishable. All pervading as I am the personification of the eightfold nature. So revealed the Lord to Arjuna while expounding the Gita. The world made of movable and immovable objects, of names and forms, is manifested by me in the form of the eightfold nature. The phenomenon is created by me only. The mystical symbol Om expresses me. I am the only connotation of it. In the whole world of the universe, there exists a multitude of things, but I am immanent in all of them. There is nothing but the Atma. So, what desire should be there? I am all exhaustive in everything in all 10 directions. Where all is filled with the whole, the feeling of me and mine melts away. What desires can we have when I am all pervasive? Desires are born of intellect. They do not have any connection with the soul. Sai Maharaj is the embodiment of the Atman. Whence can desires arise in him? There are various kinds of desires, but once the essence is known of who am I, then they dissolve like the hailstones in the blazing hot rays of the sun. I am not the mind, intellect, or the sense organs, nor am I the matter or the gross form. I am also not the golden egg from which the universe evolved before it revealed itself, but I am the ancient witness without a beginning. In this way, I am beyond the senses. I have no interest in the sense objects, but there is nothing where I am not present. I am not the doer or the cause of any deed. With this realization in mind, the intellect and other senses are cross instruments of the physical body. Detachment will arise, unveiling and concealed self knowledge. To forget one's own real nature is itself the illusion to remember the pure and complete bliss in me. None but the Supreme One, pure consciousness. To turn oneself towards me is itself a great service and devotion to me. When I experience the bliss of the mind, it is the knowledge in the pure form. The soul is the Brahman self. Bliss from understanding the knowledge is Brahman. By the knowledge of the untrue nature of the world, the illusion about this world will pass away. Brahman is truth, that is me. I am eternal, pure, enlightened, and liberated one. I am Vasudeva, the sacred letter Om. I am the truth. Your good lies in worshipping me with true faith and devotion. Thus, realizing my true nature, serve me in the right way. Moreover, surrender to me completely and be one with me. When the river surrenders to the ocean, can it come back? Will there be a separate identity where she embraces the ocean? Just as a wick soaked in oil, when joined to the flame of light, becomes itself a bright light. In the same way, when a person reaches the status of a sage at the feet of the sage, he who thinks of nothing but Allah Malik, the Supreme Being, and pure consciousness. He has peace and has no desires and looks upon all with equal eye. How can he have a separate identity from the Supreme Being, where there is not awareness of oneself, where there is no ego, where there is absence of strife or quarrel, twofold nature of the world, where there is no wish for worldly possessions, where these four virtues reside. Can there exist the ego? Summing up, in Sai's nature, these eight virtues exist in their complete form. Where is the place for ego? How can I then know such egoism? He who self is pervading in the universe, I am part and parcel of him. Surrender at the feet of Sai. This will mean my service, to serve me and to sing my praises, to surrender to me completely will lead to the union with me. So says Krishna in the Bhagavad. Just as the worm, by constantly thinking of the bee itself becomes the bee. In the same way, when a disciple constantly contemplates upon the Guru, he becomes similar with the Guru. By using the word similar, still a distinction remains. Even that will not be tolerated by the Guru, even for a moment, because Guru's existence is not possible without the disciple, and the disciple is not separate from the Guru. So it was the one whom I was ordered to worship. He explained who he was. In support of what I have been saying, I am reminded of an incident which I will relate now. A Rohila Patan came to Shirdi and was attracted by Baba's virtues. He stayed there for a long time and lovingly devoted himself to Baba. He was hefty like a male buffalo. He was self-willed and cared for no one. He wore only a kafni up to his ankles and came and lived in the masjid, whether it was day or night, whether it was in the masjid or in the chawdi. He would recite verses of the Quran at high pitch, which was with extreme enthusiasm and full freedom. Maharaj and was peace incarnate, but the villagers were very wary. Even at midnight, his conscious recitation would disturb everybody's sleep. During the day, the people had to toil in the hot sun in the fields and forests. At night, they would not get undisturbed sleep. Therefore, the people were annoyed. Maybe Baba was not troubled. As for the people, they felt that they had committed a great sin. No peaceful night's sleep. They were annoyed with Rohila. They were on the horns of dilemma. How long could they endure this? Day and night, this nuisance was a big problem for them. They were worried. Rohila was, as it is, a headstrong person. To make matters worse, he had Baba's strong support. He became more uncontrollable than what he was before and give him airs. He became arrogant and disdainful and behaved insolently with the people. He behaved more reckless than before, and the whole village turned against him. Sai, being a very kind hearted, like a mother, always shielded those who surrendered to him. Therefore, all the villagers came to him and entreated him. But Baba, on the contrary, told the villagers, do not harass Rohila. He is very dear to me. This Rohila's wife is a virago and not ready to stay with him. She is eager to come to me by eluding me. The virtuous woman does not observe the way. She is without modesty and shameless. If driven out, she comes back forcibly into the house. As soon as he stops shouting, the wicked woman seizes the opportunity to enter. When he shouts, she flees, leaving him pure of speech, body, and mind. That gives me profound happiness. No one should oppose him. Let him shout to his heart's content. I cannot pass the night without him. I have great pleasure because of him. Shouts of this type are greatly to my advantage. In this way, Rohila is benevolent and makes me extremely happy. Let him shout as he pleases. In that itself is my well being. Otherwise, that wicked wife will trouble me. When he himself gets tired, he will keep quiet automatically. Your purpose will be served, and that wicked woman will not trouble me. When Maharaj said so, any further effort will be futile. If Baba's mind is not disturbed, then why should we be concerned. As it is, Rohila was very enthusiastic. Moreover, he was now licensed by Baba, so he started to recite the Quran verses loudly and created chaos. The people were amazed at Baba's forbearance. Instead of a splitting headache, the shouting sent him into a rapture. How horrible were the shouts! It was a wonder that they did not parch his throat. But Baba still persisted in telling all, do not admonish him. Outwardly, the Rohilla appeared to be a mad Muslim saint, but he respected Baba greatly. Happily, according to the tenets of religion, he would recite the verses of the Quran. He did not care whether his own voice was soft or shrill. No sooner was he inspired that he would start shouting the name of God. Nature had endowed him with a rattling voice. He regularly and constantly shouted Allahu Akbar and the verses with great joy. Baba disliked association with one who loathed God's name. Then why would he think of driving away Rohila when he saw continuously repeating God's name? Wherever my devotees are singing my praises, I am there for them. There I am without rest, alert, and without sleep, as if it were a way to prove the utterance in the Bhagavad Gita that Baba behaved in this way. The Rohila subsisted on whatever he got by the way of alms, or else he went hungry occasionally. How would he have a wife who would go and bother Baba? The Rohila was reduced to penury. How could he have had a marriage or a wife? Baba was a celibate from childhood, so the whole story was allegorical. Let him sing with a loud voice. Baba is satisfied by the recitation of the verses. He listened to them day and night. Sleep was like poison compared to the enlightening preachings of the verses. The complaints of the villagers were hollow. This was a strategy followed by Baba to give the villagers the correct perspective. In this manner, Baba conveyed the lesson to one and all that he liked Rohila's company because he loved God's name. The things perceived, one who perceives, and that which he perceives, all the three is God for him. Such a person, whether he be a Brahmin or a Patan, is regarded as the same. Once, after the noon arti, when the people started returning home, Baba spoke sweet words on his lips. Hear them. Wherever you are and whatever you may be doing, always bear it in mind that I shall continue to be informed of the minutest details of your deeds. In this manner, I am described. I dwell in the minds of all. I am in the hearts of all pervading. I am the Lord of all. I fill the entire creation with and without to the point of overflowing. This universe is directed by God, and I am the one who holds the reins. I am the mother of all beings. I am the equilibrium of the three gunas. I promote the activities of the senses. I am the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer. One who concentrates on me, for him nothing is difficult. But the moment he forgets me, Maya will attack him. Whatever was perceived is my image only, whether be it a worm, an ant, a poor thing, or a king. This immeasurable universe consisting of mobile and immobile things, these are Baba's own image. What a delightful indication! There was no difference between sages and God. Without any distinction, they take a form for the benefit of the universe, consisting of movable and the immovable. If one wishes to surrender at the feet of the Guru, one should sing the praises of the Guru or recite the life story of the Guru or listen to the tales about him with devotion. One who is desirous of obtaining knowledge should listen intently and he becomes one with preaching and with assimilation. Thus, the supreme energy will appear before him and the mind will be elevated. Even if one is engrossed in worldly affairs and one chances to hear the tales of a saint without making the slightest efforts, they will still do good because such is the nature. Then, if they are listened to with faith and devotion, how much good can be gained? Oh, listeners, just think in your own interest. The devotion to the Guru's feet will help the well being and will tremendously increase gradually. No other rites or rituals are necessary. The supreme good will be attained. Once the mind is disciplined in this way, the longing to listen to the stories will increase. The bonds or sense objects will easily break away and extreme happiness will pervade. Hearing the sweet words of Baba, I resolved not to take up any service any longer, but devote myself entirely to the service of the Guru. But my mind kept hovering around Baba's assurance. He'll get employment easily and wondered if I would get proof of it. Can Baba's words ever be false? That will never come to pass. I might again start working amongst people, but it will not be beneficial for me. It is true that Anna spontaneously inquired about me. Nevertheless, it was not as if it was not my desire also, but this is also not fate which would befall me. In the heart of my hearts, I also sought employment to support my family, and Sai offered me a sugar coated pill by the way of a remedy. That medicine with the hope of something sweet to follow, I drank and I became fortunate. A job came unexpectedly and I accepted it out of the desire for money. Even if it is jaggery, one will be tired of eating it continuously. I preferred licking the finger dipped it in honey of Baba's preachings. The job was not permanent. It ended unexpectedly as it came. Baba made me stick to what I was doing to enjoy the pleasure of being with him in one place. This universe is full of animate and inanimate things in a manifestation of God. But God is beyond even the universe and the Supreme Spirit beyond all. God is not separate from the worldly affairs, but the worldly affairs are different from God because the world receives the energy from Him and thrives upon it. God is the basis of the world. Please understand that there are 8 ways of worshipping God by doing pujas of images, sacrificial fire, etc. But compared to everything, the Guru is the best. Krishna himself was supreme Brahman, yet he bowed to his son Dipani's feet and said, remembrance of the Satguru is the surest way to please me, who is Narayana. Singing the praises of the Satguru rather than my praises is dear to me a thousandfold. Such is the excellence and profound significance of the Satguru. He who turns his back on the praises of the Guru is an unfortunate sinner. He endures the painful cycle of birth and death and becomes the cause of his own ruin. Birth and death follow one after the other. This is an endless circle. Hence, let us listen to the tales to achieve our own deliverance. Even casual words uttered by the saints break the bonds of false knowledge and save us in the time of calamities. So let us assimilate these stories. We do not know what the future will be and what help they would give at such moments. This is the play of the Almighty. The loving devotee is just a spectator, being without any intelligence or wisdom. How would I explain the good fortune befalling me and that I should have a powerful guru like Sai? This is also his Leela. I have already narrated the purpose of this book and assurance given to me by Baba. Due to him, the direction was received of the distinction of you and I and of worship. Now, you listeners will be listening to the next chapter to an account of how Samartha Sai Nath appeared in Shirdi. All of you, young and old, simple and believing, spare a few moments from your worldly life and listen to this unique story of Sai. Though Sai is himself an incarnation, he remaining unaffected and acts the various roles just like a householder, engrossed in his daily life and acts according to the dictates of Maya. Samartha Sai, with this mantra, for those who serve his holy feet, he moves strings for the deliverance of his devotees from the worldly existence. Sacred is his life story. In brief, holy is the story of Sai. The hearts will be purified of those who recite and those who listen. Listening to the stories with love will dispel all worldly afflictions. Sai, the cloud of mercy, will shower grace and complete and pure knowledge will appear. Sloth, a wandering mind, attachment to sense objects, and indulgence of the palate. These are the obstacles which will come in the way of listening. Steer clear of these, and the listening will become a happy experience. You do not need ceremonies to complete the rituals. You do not need fasting to torture the body. You do not need to visit the tirthas. It is sufficient to listen to the story. Genuine love and awareness of the core of devotion will easily lead to attainment of the highest good, and incorrect knowledge and knowledge of twofold nature will be destroyed. You need not make efforts for other means. Let us listen to the Sai Charita, Satcharithra. It will exhaust all karmas of the past and the present life, which will result in rebirth. Not the least effect will remain of them. As a miser, wherever he is, he has a mind fixed on his hidden treasure day and night. In the same easy way, Sai should dwell in our minds. May there be well being. This is the end of the third chapter, named The Consent Given to Write This Book of the Shri Sai Samartha Satcharithra, written by the devotee Hemad Pant, impelled by the saints and virtuous people. This is offered to Shri Satguru Sainath. May there be auspiciousness. Now I will do the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. शिर्डी माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रमावर. बाबा रमावर साई बाबा रमावर. शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्रभागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा. पुंडलिक जागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा. याव याव अवके जन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन. साई श्रीवंदन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन. प्रणोपणे बाबा साई भाव पाव माझे आई. पाव माझे आई धाव पाव माझे आई. अनेलो तांघन वने गचरण दोयाति पाइन रूप तुझे. प्रेमीन रंगीन अनंत पूजिम भवेव माइन वने नमा. त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बंधु सदा त्वमेव. त्वमेव विद्या दैरंगमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव. प्रसन्नियर्म उद्याकनावा पतन स्वभाव. नरोमि यद्यं सकलंतरस्मै नारायण इति समर्पयामि. अच्युतं केशवं राम नाम नारायणं कृष्ण दामोदरं वासुदेवं हरे. ईदवं माधवं गोपिका विल्लभं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्रं हरे. हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे. श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Om Sai Ram. I urge all the listeners to read the Sai Satcharithra daily and soak in Baba bliss. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.